So you're thinking about moving to Bend and you're still curious about winter. What is winter really like here in Bend in Central Oregon? Well, today we're going to address what it's really like. It's not just December 21st to March 21st. There are seasons within seasons when it comes to the winter-like weather here in Bend in Central Oregon. We're going to address that today. So if this video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're going to be getting after it right now.
If this is your first time on the channel and you'd like to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the bad of Bend, Oregon and the surrounding areas, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about what's going on here in Bend, Oregon. My name is Zach Nutter. This is Ryan Rudloff, both licensed brokers with eXp Realty in the state of Oregon, and we've lived here for over 30 years and we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Love to connect with you, help you make a smooth move here to Bend. So let's get into the dog days of winter.
All right, so what are these dog days of winter that we're actually talking about? Every fall, okay, September, October, it's typically pretty warm, it's nice outside. Those are the dog days of summer, of course, right? But September, frankly, is my favorite weather month of the year because it's not too hot, it's still relatively warm even at night. And we get those 70, 75 degree days. It kind of trickles into October. We get high 60s, maybe some 70s. If we're lucky, maybe even into the 80s on some select days in October. But as soon as November rolls around, it kind of, the flip kind of switches over to wintertime. It starts to freeze consistently at night, and then eventually we get that first dusting of snow, and everybody's kind of looking out at the mountains. When's that first dust coming up on the mountains? And then a lot of people that are local here, they're ski bums, they love to be up on the mountain. They're just waiting for that big snowstorm to hit so the mountain can open. Typically the mountain opens around Thanksgiving time, that's the goal. And everybody, especially in November and December, that's when like the winter enchantment kind of hits the area, right? The holidays are upon us. Snow here and there, the lights are twinkling up in the trees and on the houses and stuff like that. So we've got this transition into winter where everybody's kind of into it. They enjoy it for November and December, and it's tolerable, right? Because maybe the holidays do somewhat a little bit of a recognizing what the winter's really doing to us, and it's just us getting acclimated to this new season, because Bend is all about the 4 seasons.
So these are our really cold months and our really snowy months. So this is where you just expect it. Kind of the fun part of winter has ended. I always feel like bad when Christmas is over. You put the tree away, or the holidays in general, you put the tree away, you put all the decorations away, your house feels kind of empty. I almost get like a little like depression when the holidays are over. And then you get into the deepest part of winter, where you get some of these days that it's single digits for temperatures, or you get this quick 12 inches of snow overnight, and you've got people driving slow, you've got little accidents, but you're prepared for this. You're mentally prepared for this, because you know every year this is when weather kicks in. In February it kind of hangs on, but in February you start getting some of these real nice days weaved into the cold. Last weekend we had a high 50s day, and then we had a day after that that was in the mid 40s, high 40s, partially sunny, really nice. And then we're back to this. As you can see around us, we've got a bunch of snow. We had a dusting of snow last night. We're supposed to get more on Thursday, but we're gonna have some nice days in between. But this is the part of the year that we're prepared for winter. This is what it's supposed to be right now, so it's tolerable, right?
It is tolerable, and like we think about when that first snow's coming, November, December. I guess everybody associates November with winter time. It's still technically fall. We don't get a ton of snow. Sometimes we will, but if we don't, then it's like, oh, we're out of the weeds, right, by the end of December. No, not necessarily the case. That's technically when winter starts. January and February show up, and then we get that big forecast where it says it's gonna be 10 degrees or 5 degrees. We've got a video we did on that. We'll link up here as a card, but when that snowstorm comes, it's like, all right, it's here, and we don't know how long it's gonna last. I mean, the forecast says it's not gonna be over 32 degrees for the next 10 days. So you're just kind of digging in, and preparing for it. And once that's over, it does typically warm up a little bit shortly after, 10, 11 days later, snow starts to melt off and you think, all right, that was it. Nope. Check the forecast again. 5 more days later, and then here comes the next snowstorm. It just feels like it drags on, and you get to a point as a local where you're like, all right, it's mid-February. I am ready for some spring-like weather. Where is it?
So then we hop into March. And March, for me, March means spring, but not always here. We still tend to get quite a bit of snow in March, but we are seeing the weather change. Our outdoor sports are kicking in. We still have a little bit of snow on the ground. We'll get some dustings. Every once in a while, we'll get a good snow. I remember my dad was telling me one time his high school baseball coach, they had a baseball tournament in town. This was 40 years ago, 45 years ago or so, but they had a baseball tournament in town. Everybody wanted to cancel, and the coach said, nope. He poured gas on the infield, burnt the infield. They they shoveled everything else out, and they played baseball. So just be prepared that in March, we still do get some snow. The weather is turning. We're getting more and more of those really nice days that are kind of hit and miss. In January and February, we're starting to see those more and more and more come March.
They're big teaser days. We're approaching March right now, and it just kind of like, my kids are getting ready for their baseball season, right? And so we're kind of gearing up, and you always remember the first few weeks of baseball. It's cold, right? You're stationary. You're just standing around the infield, or you're standing at the plate. And if you're a spectator, you're just sitting there, and it gets cold because, daylight savings has come and gone. Now the days are longer, and the sun goes down at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, but it's still 42 degrees outside. And it's like wintertime, daytime highs, and yet you're outside trying to adjust to this new spring that it technically is on the calendar, but it doesn't feel that way around here. And so March and even some April days they're gonna be pretty frustrating with the cold. You just think to yourself, okay, the sun's shining, the days are long, but where is this warm weather? When's it showing up? And you get kind of frustrated, a little fatigued. So spring break shows up, you take the kids somewhere south where it's warm, get away.
You take your kids somewhere south?
Take my kids somewhere south, yep, absolutely. It's just like a 10-day fix, right? Then all of a sudden you're back. You're back at it, and dealing with these elements for, I don't know, another couple weeks.
April is when you really start seeing the shift. We start getting a lot more nice days, those 60-degree days, low 70-degree days. But then you still have the opportunity to find a little snow floating around in the air. But you're starting to see more and more of these really nice days. You'll see a lot of the golf courses are starting to be open more permanently, and a lot of the outdoor recreation becomes more available to you. With the trails. When do they open the road out Cascade Lakes Highway past Mount Bachelor?
Honestly, I think it's like Memorial Day.
Okay,
when they
yeah,
plow
it's probably a little later when they plow it out. But you start seeing a lot of things change by then. So just kind of as a timeline going back, I always think of like Halloween as being like when the season really changes.
Right.
And then you get Mount Bachelor, opens typically around Thanksgiving every year.
Yep.
And you've got the holidays. Usually in the holidays, we typically have some snow on the ground here. Some years we do, some years we don't, but a lot of times we'll have snow around the holidays. Then we have our major winter, January, February. March starts getting a little nicer, but still cold. We're almost to March here. And then April, we start seeing the nice days. So that's where we're at now. What's May look like to you, pal?
May is like WTF. Like, okay, are we seriously still doing this? Because there's moments where it's like this, okay? It's sunny, but it's cold. We'll get dustings of snow, but then we'll get like a 75 or 85 degree day. It's like, all right, we made it. We made it. We're here. We're out of the weeds. No, it's still kind of gloomy sometimes, still kind of cold sometimes. It even drags into like early June. I mean, those are some of my memories where it's like, wait a second, it's freaking June right now, and yet we're still dealing with some of these winter-like elements here in Central Oregon.
The nice thing about, we're talking about kind of our experience and how winter can seem to really stretch out. The nice thing is, woo, We're getting some wind now. We came into this big open area,
the canyon,
trees for protection, but we get bright blue skies almost 300 days a year, and that can make the coldest day feel a little warmer. And so, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the wintertime, those blue skies really help. Today we've got a really gray sky, but just 2 hours ago we had blue skies, and then we've got a little storm blowing in, I think, here.
Yeah, we couldn't decide if we were going to shoot a video today because it was cloudy, raining, then it was sunny. Now it's back to cloudy and windy, and here we are dealing with these elements.
We're here for you guys, though.
That's right.
Let's not go down the big hill.
Yeah, should we turn around?
Icy. Yeah,
let's
turn.
Yep. We're going to turn around here.
Hey, I got to get to my spot.
Zach's spot. You can see the runner behind us there going down. This
People
is
around
River
here
Canyon.
Recreating all the time.
Yeah.
So we've been walking along the river here. It's kind of this section of the river trail. Most of it sits up higher. It doesn't have as many views of the river, but this is a highly used portion of the river trail here on this side too.
Yep. So that's basically going to wrap up our version of what winter is really like here in Bend in Central Oregon. It kind of drags on for a few months, but then we start getting those days where there's hope and there's light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of new people that have moved here in the last couple of years, they'll get really excited about those teaser days, and they think that winter's over. They learn very quickly.
A lot of people move here for the winter time though, so for people like Ryan and I that aren't avid skiers or snowboarders, it kind of stinks that the winter drags on. But for other people, they're like, man, I wish it would snow year round.
Some
so
people
I
love
ski
winter
all the time, or snowboard, or
For sure.
snowshoe, or whatever.
Totally.
So just know that it's a main driver for the tourism in the wintertime here. So there's a lot of people that actually love it. It's gorgeous. When it snows out, we get one of those big blasts of snow. The trees are absolutely amazing. Town tends to be a little quieter. So it's not all bad in the wintertime.
No,
here.
it's not. But you can sense that we've got the winter fever, the spring fever, whatever it is right now. We're ready for a little warm weather ourselves. But this is just the nature of the beast. We love Central Oregon and Bend for what it is. And this is just part of living here full time.
We like to share everything with you guys, right? We want you to make a sound decision. We met with a client a week or so ago, and they came and visited during the winter, and they weren't sure if it's going to work for them. And I'm so glad they did, because we don't want people moving here and not loving it. It's a big commitment to move, especially if you're relocating, from somewhere that's warm all the time. It's a huge move, so it's important for us to share the downsides as much as the upsides, so that you really know what you're getting into if you decide to make a move to this beautiful place.
Absolutely. So hopefully this provides some perspective. You're still interested in learning more about Bend in Central Oregon. Just know that the winter times can be a little bit unpredictable. Even though we've been here long enough, we can kind of forecast what to expect. But yeah, it's kind of skewed when it comes to the seasonality here. Our summers drag, or they go into early October, sometimes mid to late October, which is fantastic. And then our winters kind of go into April, and should I say early May sometimes. So it's just part of dealing with the elements here. But we're glad to share that with you. We hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Absolutely. See, Ryan's expecting the sun to come back out. That's why he still has his sunglasses on. And here in the snowy day that we're cruising around the river trail. So thank you guys so much for watching, for dealing with our banter. We appreciate you so much. The channel's growing. We love working with you guys. We love hearing from you. So we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next video.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.